Thanks, Brittany. I just want to echo Brittany's comments. First of all, I want to thank the panelists for putting in not just the time today, but time for preparing. And many of them have been active participants in the body-worn camera program for years. Many of them are grantees that have sort of elevated themselves to being experts and really willing to share their lessons learned and their experiences for the greater good. So I appreciate that. I think really sort of having a hard time summarizing all the information we learned today, tying it together, what we learned yesterday and the day before. But I think there are a couple of things that struck me today, and I know this Chip usually leads us off, but I'm going to take the lead this time and let him close in. I think one of the things that really resonated with me is just sort of the realist perspective that has been taken throughout these meetings and the presentations. I think Sergeant Smitty really, I think, gave us a good object lesson on, how to really understand your data and the limitations of your data. These artificial intelligence and the automated tools have a lot of potential, but if they're being acted upon on bad data or unclear data, it's dangerous. I'm reminded, and it's a great adage that a professor of mine used is, we want to operate with power steering, not on autopilot, because we have little control. And so I think that's a good lesson, to sort of a good adage for understanding how things like AI or automatic tagging can be useful, but it also can be dangerous if we don't understand it and sort of have those human mechanisms in there. I mean, it's a very concrete and objective things. I think we touched on a lot of, very high level things, including the most recent session. And I think Director Carlton's remarks, I think, really pointed to what I want to really say is that this is, an evolving program. The ecosystem with body-worn cameras is very complex. There are no simple answers. In some senses, we're learning as we go. Dr. Gaub mentioned, how things are in North Carolina with basically it's almost impossible to release body-worn camera footage. Other states are quite different, and we know that there's tremendous amount of variation in Freedom of Information Act, how body-worn cameras policies are used. We've seen in other things we've done that there are some states like Florida, which are Officer Bill of Rights states, where the issue that we've talked about before, whether or not officers should view their own body-worn camera footage in the event of a critical incident. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion in Florida that they should be able to write they should be able to view the body-worn camera before they write their reports. And that issue is being hashed out in different jurisdictions. So we touched on many, many issues today. I just want to emphasize that we're here to learn from you. So by all means, please provide any information you like to us, any feedback, do the evaluation, comment on the individual sections as part of that evaluation, what you might like to see in the future in events like this and other webinars. And then I don't know if it's posted at the end, I'm going to put in the remarks now. If you have general ideas about how BJA can be more responsive to the needs of agencies that are deploying body-worn cameras, considering that, or other areas, feel free to send those along to me. I'll raise those up to the level that they need to be raised. We just want to keep sort of this open platform of learning from you all. With that, I'll turn it over to Chip.
All right, John, thank you very much. Very dangerous to leave me with the closing remarks here. I have said frequently that I never met a microphone or a camera I didn't like. And so I'll do my best to be brief, but there are a few things that I want to touch on and a few thank yous that I want to mention. And John, I just want to say that spending this last couple of days with everybody and going through this agenda and hearing from everybody, I have to say that I am truly, humbly thankful that we have had the opportunity all these years to work with the people that we've worked with. The sites, the agencies, the subject matter experts. It's really, I think it's been, very positive, and it's continuing to be that way. And so I'm very thankful for that. And while I'm being thankful, I have to say I've gone down my list. There are at least 16 people that I need to thank for pulling this whole thing off, whether they were helping develop the agenda, facilitating sessions. I don't know if everybody knows, but we have note takers that have been attending each session and feeding John and I notes about the key points being made during the session. And so everybody, a large group of people have contributed to the success of this meeting. And I'm going to just run down those names quickly. I hope you'll bear with me. Brittany Cunningham, Allie Land, Quinn Patterson, Margarita Parker, Amada Bond, Deanna Sweeney, Caitlin Maloney, Alexa Blondin, Maddie March, Adriana Volpe, not to mention Tom Woodmansee, Jeff Smith, Charles Stevenson, Elliot Harkavy, Mike White, and Craig Uchida. I may have missed a couple names, a name or two, but it has been just a pleasure. And again, a humbling experience to watch this meeting come together and learn the things that we learned this past couple days. Having said that, I'll just focus on a couple things, some interesting things that I heard, some funny things that I heard. I want to thank Melissa for that clip from The Office that she played during her session. I just got a hearty laugh out of that clip. It was just kind of a light moment, but a good moment. I thought it was also interesting. I forget who said it, but it was in one of the sessions today. This person said, thank goodness for body-worn cameras, but it was the mobile phones that were the godsend, right? That helped them link up the cameras to do the tagging that's necessary and just, facilitated and accelerated a process that was becoming very, very cumbersome. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, body-worn cameras are great, but they're linked to a lot of other technology that we need to be mindful of. And that gets us back into digital evidence management and the ways that body-worn cameras touch on so many different parts of policing. One of the things I like to do at the end of these meetings is just think for a moment about where the discussions led us in terms of thinking about technical assistance that we should be working on or that we might provide. And I'll say, number one, that there's a lot of technical assistance that we provide that we should continue to focus on, whether it's the policy work or the data storage issues or the activation issues, that's all important. A couple things that I heard today, certainly keeping up with the technology. I thought there were some interesting comments made about the always on feature that maybe we should spend a little time taking notice of and seeing how that's impacting things. And I think whatever machine learning and artificial intelligence is, it is here. And it's going to impact how we work with body-worn camera data, how we understand the impact of body-worn cameras. And so we would be well advised, as we are, to pay attention to that. But I also think that the BJAs and the NIJs of the world would appreciate learning from these sites about what their experiences are with these new approaches, because that's going to help inform how they think about their programs and their funding. So that's important. I also heard a comment, a suggestion to develop some training guides for field training officers. So that's important. That's important. That's something that we really haven't focused on a lot in our work. Over the past couple of years, I have seen the role of field training officers emerge as an important one generally, but with body-worn cameras as well. So I just wanted to mention those few things. I'll close by mentioning a couple of the other themes that I've mentioned over the past couple of days and that I think Director Moore kind of talked about today. Focusing on the positive, right? Body-worn cameras do a lot of things and they find out a lot of things, but we're going to make them as effective as we want them to be and as widely utilized as we want them to be. We need to focus on not just the positive things that they show us, but the positive impacts that they have, again, throughout policing agencies and throughout our communities. We want to continue to focus on this translation issue. How do we make the research usable and understandable and palatable to the people that need to understand it? That's always important. And in reference to, I think, Carlton Moore's talk today, my interpretation of what he said is to keep our foot on the pedal. Keep doing this work, but keep adjusting. adjusting to what's happening in the field, adjusting to what's happening in the technology, and make this program and make this technology relevant as it can possibly be. And that's a challenge for us. It's a challenge for everybody. We should be mindful of that as well. That's what I have. Okay. I'm very, very thankful, John, to you, to BJA, to everybody that we worked with over this past couple days. I will leave it at that. John or Brittany, if you want to say a last word or two, feel free to go ahead.
I will, also thank the grantees for, I think, just bringing forth their ideas. We do have a vehicle through your TTA teams to share success stories. So these can be, small little stories of something that happened as a result of body worn cameras, an officer that was exonerated, a way that you reached out to the community and made positive inroads. We're always looking, those as sort of just the ways to share the success of this program, not just sort of the types of issues we're talking about here. So please, by all means, share those and share your ideas for how we might better meet your needs. We covered a lot today, but I'm sure there are things that we didn't cover. So feel free to reach out to us. I put my email in the chat. I should have thought to put it on this last slide, but we'll add that to the slide before it goes out for public dissemination. So thanks all. Brittany, I'll let you have the closing words. You were really the orchestrator of this all, and thank you for your patience and your diligence.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Chip. And thank you all for, again, sticking with us the last 3 days. It's been a great annual meeting. Please let us know your feedback, and I'll just thank the team for everything they've done behind the scenes. So thank you all. Have a great evening, and we'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Thanks.